everyone! I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but I really want to try and get back into YouTubing. It's just kind of fun, so figured I'd come back in with something I'm not super great at and is kind of messy, because why not, right? Anyway, in this video I'll be working on 3 different but not really different paintings. I'm doing this with some really cheap acrylic that I just kind of got when I was in school and to try it out. I really like acrylic, but I just never really work with it, so I'm not great at it. What you see here is the first of the 3, technically. It's this, I think it's about 7x9 sized piece of like cardstock, and I'm just painting a couple leaves and stuff on it. I'll be doing some really loose flowers in a little bit, and the idea for that one is that I want to make it a page in my happy planner, like as the June transitional page for the month. So I'll show you guys how that turns out, obviously, at the end of the video. This next thing I'm working on is a tiny, I think it's either 4x4 or 5x5 canvas, and it's actually the same idea and the same colors. I just kind of wanted to have it on a little tiny canvas because I, in my head at this point, still thought that it was going to be a really cool painting. You know, disappointment's a part of life, it's fine. The point is that I got some more practice in and I get to show you guys kind of the journey to not great but not horrible end results. This final one is actually another one of the small canvases, but it's almost like a happy version of the colors. It's got some pinks and the greens are a little bit lighter. I know it's kind of hard to tell because the background is so much lighter, but the flowers in this, as I'm doing right now, are going to be mostly yellows and whites, whereas the other one will be some reds and like some darker tones. So I thought it'd be cool to have kind of a happy little painting and a darker themed painting, not really like mean or mad or anything. Oh, and for all of those of you who are incredibly astute and have noticed that I am painting on the back of this canvas, I know. The story behind that will have to be for another time, but basically I horribly failed at doing the crayon melting thing, if you've seen those. Yeah, turns out my heat gun sets off my smoke alarm in my house, so that went pretty downhill pretty quickly, but I didn't want to waste the canvas, so I just decided to paint on the back. Like I said, this isn't anything serious for this project. It was just kind of to practice my acrylics, or to practice my acrylic skills and to use some of the cheapo acrylics I have up. Here is me starting to go in with some of that really dark red, and at this point I kind of realized I was going a little too dark with that. The canvas colors end up being a little bit better because I lighten it up as I go, but that big June page ends up being really dark. Unfortunately, I went really dark with those 2 background colors. Like, it's the same color, I just used it obviously for both the paper and the canvas. It was way too dark. But now I know, and hopefully I can get better from there. Don't mind the high-pitched sounds. Just me checking if the recording was still going. So here I am trying to get a little bit more white. I knew I wanted white flowers, but obviously I didn't want to do white in the background, or like as the first layer, if that makes sense, because then nothing would really stand out against it if I just used white again. So I did mix a little bit of yellow into that first layer, and then I'm just going in with basically white right here. I am painting on wet acrylic this whole time, so you'll see a lot of like paint mixing slightly just because it's not completely dry, and I don't really have a problem with that, but I know that to get some like fully opaque layers you do need to let it dry completely. I just like I said, this was mostly for fun, so I wasn't too worried about it. Meanwhile, I don't know. Shoot, I meant to say this at the beginning of the video, but I know I tend to talk really fast when I'm nervous, so I'm sorry if I am talking really fast. I know it's a bad habit I have, and I'm working on it. Like I said, it's been a really long time since I've done anything on YouTube, so hopefully you guys can bear with me and we can have a nice time, and I can get a little bit better at least if I keep going, which I want to. I think that, oh, alright, drawstrings. Anyway, I think that this was also a point where I had started to go in and I realized that everything was really dark because when I put that front layer, that lighter red or almost pink, I realized that it was just really stark in contrast to the background, and while it's good because it pops out, it wasn't exactly what I was going for, and so I figured at this point it was just go till the end. I'm trying to work on not leaving pieces unfinished even if I don't like where they're going, so that's also why I just figured I'd try and get all of these done anyway. Also, sorry for repeatedly shoving my messy hair into this video. I know it drives me crazy, and hopefully it doesn't drive you too insane, but, you know, I don't blame you if you do. It's crazy, poofy, and in the way, as per usual. You know, I don't know if I already did this in the video, but I did leave it in. There's a point in this video where I turn this specific canvas over because I had forgotten what was on the back, and you get a slight glimpse of my horrible crayon melting failure. Again, just realized that maybe I should either try it outside where there are no smoke detectors or get a less powerful heat gun. I mean, I got one from Home Depot, so it might have been a little hardcore for crayon melting DIY projects. Who would have known? Alright, so if for those of you who just noticed that camera flip, and I mean by those of you who noticed, I mean literally anyone watching this video, that was because I wasn't sure how good it would look and if I would end up just flipping the entire video while editing, because the camera is filming me technically upside down. So at the end of kind of the final stage of painting the flowers and whatnot, I did flip each of these upside down / right side up, just to kind of give you guys a view of like where I was at with them. However, I did end up just flipping the whole video because it looks fine, and so you get a little glimpse at the end of each stage where I flipped the flipped video and tried to flip it again in editing. Yeah, no, it's you either get what I mean or you don't, and it's fine if you don't. Oh, that reminded me. I wanted to ask, I mean, I don't know how many people watch this or how many people watching this work with acrylic. I think it mostly just would be with acrylic, but I've been really curious about how modeling paste works. And it seems like you mostly can use it with acrylic to make the paint thicker itself and almost like a paste, obviously by the name. So when you have these thick brush strokes, or when you have a lot of paint that you put on the canvas or on whatever medium you have, it actually dries like almost like a sculpted piece up. Like it's very pasty and it dries hard, but yeah, it seems really interesting to me, and I was just wondering if any of you guys have tried modeling paste, what have been your experience or your thoughts on it. I've only ever seen it at my local Blick store, and it's kind of expensive, to be quite honest, so I'm very hesitant about trying it, even though it does look really cool. So if you guys have tried it at all or have any suggestions, please let me know. Or if you know anything else that has the same effect, maybe that isn't as expensive. It just, like I said, I've only seen it at Blick, and it looks like a really cool idea because I do like a lot of texture, and if I can get almost a 3D thing going on with the paint, that'd be awesome. But I'm also not made of monies. Let me know in the comments if you guys have tried modeling paste, or if you liked it, or if it's just a complete waste of time. Thanks! Side note, in my original idea that I had in my head, the flowers actually were just floating. There weren't any stems or like little leaf buds or anything on them. However, in the first painting that I went to, I did the first stem, and then I was like, oh, right, I wasn't gonna do stems. Well, it's too late now, gotta keep doing them. And of course, I do like how some of them turned out, but I also made some of them really thick, and this whole thing was fun, but just the best way to put it was a learning experience. Fun fact, at the end of the video, I do a little pan over all three of the finished paintings, and I did go, oh, there's the flip. Fun. Anyway, I did do a little pan of the 3 finished pieces, and I did completely go overboard with the gloss fixative or gloss finish. I know, I'm sorry. If it drives anybody crazy, don't worry. It drove me super crazy, and I was like, great way to finish this experiment. Wonderful. Anyway, right now you can see that I'm going in with just a white colored pencil, and I'm just kind of really lightly sketching in the word June. This is the page that I wanted to put in my happy planner. I have a hole punch that fits it, so once it was done, I just hole punched it. And I think you can see that in the end pan that I do, the little hole punches. But I wanted it to be in gold because I thought it would be kind of pretty and it would contrast everything else really well. So I got one of my thinner, I don't think it's a liner brush, but it's definitely a thinner brush. And I went in and started carefully putting the gold. It's Fine Tech gold, which I am so in love with and obsessed right now. I know it's expensive, but if any of you guys have been wondering if it's worth it or not, and you haven't already seen other videos of artists using it, oh my god, it's amazing. Like, it's super pretty. It goes on super nicely as long as you keep it wet, which you'll see I have issues with because I'm dumb. But it goes on super nice and smooth, and once it's on there, it's very opaque. Like, you can get a really nice line where you don't see anything under. It's just that super nice shimmery gold. So I definitely recommend it if you've been on the fence and you don't know. Because of, again, the price, it's pretty expensive, but it's so worth it. And I kind of just wish that Finetech made normal watercolors because I'd be down. I would give them all of my money. Oh my god. Do you guys see the hair? You can't not see the hair just popping in and out, right? It's just, oh, there, Alright, and then I probably realized it. No, just kidding. There it is. Again. Alright. Oh my Jesus, there it is again. Oh, my nose, look, that's attractive. I look like a Smurf. But, you know, except not blue. I wonder if I could tint this whole video blue. No, not a good idea. Oh look, now it's the bottom part of my hair. Bet you didn't think you'd see that one. Did ya? I wonder if we'll get both the bottom and the top in. Any bets? Any takers? We are closing in on the end of this video though, so maybe that was a little too much to ask of my wonderful video recording etiquette. Oh, flip! So here I am trying to show you guys how pretty the gold shimmer is, and I think you can kind of tell, but it's just really pretty in person, and it really does have like a nice shine and shimmer. Bye! But not really bye, because here's the pan. So this is what they ended up with. Like I said, I went way overboard with that gloss fixative, so the planner page was mainly the one that suffered the worst. But here they are, and thank you guys so much for joining me. Like I said, this is kind of just a fun experiment with some really cheap acrylics that I had, and I appreciate you being here the whole time and listening to me babble. See you next time!